So come down onto your knees whenever you're ready. Take them nice and wide, maybe about mat width apart, and then just reach the hands out in front and allow the torso to descend down toward the floor. So forehead resting down, arms are nice and relaxed. And if this does feel super uncomfortable for any reason, you can come up more up into like a puppy pose, so the bottom stacked over top of the knees and the heart spaces descending down toward the floor, or you can even just come into a seated position if that just feels best for you this morning. So taking your time. Going to be here for a few breaths, so make sure you're comfortable. Do adjust for yourself as you need to. Just start to come into your breath, however it is this morning, whether it's flowing in and out through the nose or the lips. And just start to observe how deep the breath is moving. Notice whether you can already hear the natural rhythm of your breath. Perhaps starting to bring that little bit of restriction into the back of the throat so that you can hear that echoey sound. Almost like that sound of wind moving through the trees. And allow your breaths to become full and expansive. A sense that you are literally filling up the entire body with your breath. That sense that you are waking yourself up with your breath. Drawing in what it is that you need this morning and letting go of what it is that you don't need. And our theme for our practice this morning is about action without attachment to results. So we're going to break down a few different arm balances today. And as on our mat, as in everyday life, often when we are trying to attempt something that might be a bit complicated or might have a certain level of difficulty to it, we can always anticipate that we're either going to achieve it or maybe that we're going to fail. So I'd like us to just clear the mind and have a check-in with our attitude. So make sure that we're coming from a very neutral place in this practice today. Open to all possibilities. One of my favorite yoga teachers, Kathy Ran, always says during the yoga practice, it's only yoga. Which I always find so refreshing because we get so wound up sometimes. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And it's only yoga. It really doesn't matter if you can't stand on your head or do a certain arm balance or whatever. It's supposed to be a fun exploration. So just having a sense of coming back to that, letting go of attaching to what we think we should be doing, let go of that in anticipation, arrive in the here and now in our bodies, how they are this morning, and have the patience with ourselves that we might have with a loved one. So for a few more moments, just keeping that deep breath flowing in and out. And if it resonates with you today to move with an intention for your practice, then just take a moment now to allow one to pop into your mind. Could be a person, a thing, could be yourself. Two more enormous breaths. Well done. And then gently, from your child's pose, just start to sit back onto your heels, bring yourself all the way up to the top. And as you get up to sitting on your heels, just roll the shoulders away from the ears, balloon the heart space forwards. Maybe just take a gentle movement through the head, side to side. Stay with your breath, maybe even closing off the eyes if that feels good. And then gently coming back to center, we're going to rock our weight back toward the heels. Fingertips come to the floor behind us, just so that we start to open up through the fronts of the ankles. So unclench your jaw. Just gently, just slowly lifting the knees a little bit further away from the mat. When you get to your natural edge, that space where you know if you go any further you won't be able to breathe or you might start to tense up, then just pause there. Get one more enormous breath in. And then gently bring the shins back down to the floor. And let's tuck under our toes, sitting back onto the heels. So just doing a little bit of screaming toe this morning. Make sure that your little toe is tucked under as well, if that's possible for you. I'm going to face you this way. And as you sit back onto the heels, just ensure that the shoulders are stacking over top of your hips. Inhale deeply, stretch the arms up above the head. Take hold of your right hand with your right wrist with your left hand. Nice big breath in. Let's just come into a nice gentle side stretch here. But lifting up, out and over toward the left hand side of the mat. Take a moment to feel the side body opening and expanding. We'll be working with a bit of twisting today, so really important that the side body is open and supple. So just take a moment here. Good, inhale, come up to the top. Switching sides, take hold of your left wrist with right hand this time. Reach up, out and over toward the right. So nice big breaths into the left side waist. Make sure that you're not clenching up through the jaw. And try to keep the attention in the upper body, particularly if the feeling in your toes and the soles of your feet is starting to intensify now. Kind of working with that ability that we have to divert our attention elsewhere. Good, inhale, come all the way up to the top. Release down onto all fours. You might want to just tap the tops of your feet out on your mat to release any sensation that you have in the toes, any intensity. And then from there, let's just turn the fingertips out to point toward the outer edges of the mat for a little bit of a wrist warm up this morning. So slowly and gently begin to take a sway from side to side, keeping the palms of the hands flat to the floor. Moving in time with your breath. And then gently find some stillness. Keep revolving the fingertips around. They might point back toward the knees. You might not have that rotation in your arms. Doesn't matter. Just take them back as far as you can. And then once you've done that, take your little rocks backwards and forwards. Again, you might be working with the eyes closed. Do what feels right for you. On your next exhale, sit the bottom as far back toward the heels as you can, keeping the palms of the hands flat to the floor. Breathing into that opening in the forearms and in the wrists. Again, make sure you're not working into any areas of pain here. Well done. Gently come forwards. Spiral the hands back the correct way, fingertips pointing straight ahead. And let's take it into a few rounds of cat-cow this morning. So hands under shoulders, knees underneath hips, moving in time with your breath. Inhale, let the belly drop. Gazing forwards, lifting up through the tailbone, look up. Exhale, round through the spine. So press down through the palms and arch up between the shoulder blades. Good. Inhale, belly drops, gaze rises, bottom lifts. Exhale, press through the palms, make a C shape through the spine. Belly button draws in. Couple more rounds. Inhale, drop down. And exhale, press the floor away. Last one. Well done. After your exhalation, return to your neutral spine, midway between cat and cow. And gently start to pat the hands forwards, coming into Anahatasana, puppy pose. Heart space descends down toward the floor. You might be able to bring your forehead to the mat. If you're very open through the chest and through the shoulders, you might be able to bring your chin to the floor and look forwards. So just breathing here, opening up into the shoulders. Let the heart space melt down to the floor. Again, action without attachment to results. So don't worry if your chin can't come down to the mat or if your forehead's floating away. Just allow your body the opportunity to open up nice and gently, nice and slowly. Good. Now from here, lift the chest slightly and start to snake your way onto your tummy. Sphinx pose. So untucking the toes, elbows are stacking underneath the shoulders, grip the mat with the fingertips, big inhale. Exhale, drag the heart space forwards. And at the same time, you're energetically dragging your elbows back towards your hips. So there's like this two-way energy exchange here. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Again, just working into opening up through the mid-back, through the thoracic spine. Another big breath in. And then breathe out, lower your heart space to the floor, hands come underneath the shoulders, press back up onto all fours once more. So take a moment, make sure that you've got that stack, shoulders over wrists, bottom over knees. And if you do have a yoga block, then grab it. If you don't, then don't worry. We're going to just warm up through the upper body this morning. One of my favorite chaturanga exercises. So as I say, if you don't have a yoga block, that's fine. You just work without it. But if you do, I'd like you just to pop it so that the edge of the block meets the tip of one of your middle fingers. It doesn't matter which hand it's in front of. So just popping it there. Take an inhale. Let's wrap the shoulders. So dump the weight of the chest down for a moment and then squeeze the shoulder blades back and away from the ears to create length through the neck, and then press up through the palms and feel that wrapping through the shoulders. Feel the space between shoulder blades moving to sky. And now from here, without moving the hands, you're just taking the shoulders forwards of the line of the wrists. As you exhale, bending the elbows, lowering halfway down. So if you have your block, you might be able to just very lightly rest your shoulder onto the block. If not, you're coming halfway down and holding it here. So nice big breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Press through the palms, come back up onto all fours. Take a moment here. So we're making this shelf-like shape with the upper arm. So as you come down, you can see that shape. So when we come into our arm balances, this is the shape that I'm talking about. All right, let's take that twice more. Inhale deeply. Rock the shoulders forwards. Exhale, come halfway down, pause. So you're creating your little shelf. Maybe you're resting your shoulder onto your block, or maybe you're halfway down and hovering. Draw the tummy in strongly. Good, and then press through the palms and come all the way back up. Well done. Have a little rest. Now, if you want to up level for the last round, please feel free to come into a higher plank from here. So we're working and holding a full chaturanga. So nice big breath in. Rock the weight forwards into the toes, come halfway down, pause. Now really use the legs if the knees are lifted, squeeze them in together. Whole body's working, it's not just about the upper body. Good, and then gently press all the way back up onto your all fours. Let's move our block out of the way. Well done. And just take a moment here again, just roll the shoulders back a couple of times, hopefully feeling a little bit warmer in the upper body. Now from this tabletop position, take up a big breath in and stretch your right leg out behind you. Inhale deeply. Exhale, take right knee to nose and round all the way in. Keep pressing down through the palms of the hands. Inhale, stretch the right leg out behind. Exhale, right knee to right shoulder. I want you to take the knee as high up as you can. Make sure that it's higher than the elbow if possible. Inhale, stretch right leg back out and behind. And this time exhale, right knee to left elbow. Cross it over the body. Again, see if you can keep it a little bit higher than the left elbow. Inhale, stretch it behind. And then exhale, lower right knee down. Second side, inhale, left leg straight out behind. Exhale, draw the tummy in, press through the palms, knee to nose, round forwards. Good, big breaths. Inhale, left leg out behind. Exhale, left knee, left armpit. Take it up as high as you can. Hold it there, squeezing the knee into the back of the upper arm. Good. Inhale, stretch left leg out behind. And exhale, left knee to right elbow. So again, try and get it as high as you can. See if you can lift it just slightly higher than the right elbow. I know it's tricky. Good, and then stretch your left leg out behind. Lower your knee down to the floor and find your way back into downward facing dog. Well done. So give yourself a few moments in downward facing dog. You might want to pedal out through the feet. Maybe keeping the neck relaxed and just letting the head sway from left to right. Do whatever feels best for your body this morning. And then once you've opened up through the backs of the legs, find some stillness. And just start to feel into your downward facing dog. So fingers are spread wide. Now feel the connection, the palms of your hands against the floor. There should be no air underneath the palms. They're completely flat. Maybe soften into the elbow joint slightly and hug inwards so that you feel that wrapping in the shoulders, neck is relaxed, head is heavy. Finding that line of energy from the back of the head all the way up toward the tailbone, back is long, and then reaching down through the heels. Okay, 3 vinyasas from here. Breathe in, rock up onto the tips of your toes, come forwards into high plank. Exhale, if you're ready for full chaturanga, take it. Otherwise, drop the knees, come all the way down to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose or upward facing dog. Lift up through your chest. And then exhale, come back into downward facing. Second round, inhale, ripple upper body forwards like a wave, high plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin or full chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And then back into downward facing. Big breath in, deep breath out. Okay, final time. Inhale, ripple forward through the spine, high plank. Exhale, come down, half or full chaturanga. Inhale, heart space forwards into your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. And then breathing out, downward facing dog. Take a moment, just notice the activity of the mind. Notice the sensations of the body. And again, just have that sense of being open to exploring your practice today. Let go of attachment and anticipation of what's to come. Now inhale, soften both knees, look forwards, step or hop your feet to your hands, forward fold. So maybe the feet are hip distance apart here. Bend your knees nice and deeply so that you can get the upper body sandwiched onto the front thighs. Let the head hang. Deep breath in. Now on your exhale, slowly and gently draw tummy button to spine and take a spinal roll all the way up to the top. Finding Tadasana when you get there, palms turn to face forward, step the feet side by side. Strong Ujjayi breath. Inhale to Utkatasana, chair pose, Bend the knees and lengthen the arms up alongside the ears. Now draw in the tummy button and curl under your tailbone. On the exhale, hands move to prayer position at heart center, twisting toward the right. So the left elbow crosses over the right knee, the palms press together, and we start to turn through the chest. Stay with your deep breath. Inhale, think about lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale, press the palms to turn deeper. Now, if this is enough for you, stay here. If you can, we're going to move into more of a crouched position. So begin to bend the knees. Maybe eventually the heels lift away from the floor, and you're in this nice crouched, revolved chair pose. Good. Now from here, release the hands. See if you can take the fingertips down to the floor and just twist here. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. One more. Okay, come back to center. Ground the heels down to the floor, forward fold. Big breath in. Exhale, soften into the knees, uncurl through the spine, coming all the way up to stand. Shoulders roll away from the ears as you get to your top, finding your way into Tadasana. Utkatasana twist, second side. Inhale, bend the knees, lengthen up through the arms. So think weight is back in the heels, tummy's drawing in. Now exhale, hands to prayer position at heart center, twisting to the left this time, so the right elbow crosses over the left knee. Take a moment to really lengthen through the spine, reach to the crown of your head. And then from there, if you're coming deeper, bend the knees, coming into that crouched position. See if you can lift your heels away from the floor. Good, now twisting, bring the fingertips down to the floor on the left side and just start to revolve the upper body round. If it's not possible to bring the hands to the floor, that's fine. Trying to keep the hands together at heart center. Big breath in, deep breath out. Facing toward the top edge of the mat, forward fold, bottom high. Big inhale. Exhale, soften into the knees, uncurling, coming all the way up to standing once more. Finding Tadasana at the top, shoulders away from the ears. Good, inhale, reach the arms above the head. Exhale, twisting toward the right, so opening up through the body. Try to keep the hips facing forwards. Good, inhale, reach the arms up to sky. Exhale, hands come to prayer position at heart center. Step only your left foot back, so coming into a high lunge stance through the legs. Now soften into the back knee, curl under the tailbone. Inhale, left arm alongside the ear. And again, exhale, twisting the torso toward the right. So isolating that upper body movement from lower body movement. Good. And now from here, see if you can cross the left elbow over the right knee and twist. Prayer hands at heart center, press them together, revolve through the upper body. If this is too much, then remember you can come into your cactus twist in the upper body. Nice big breaths here, inner thighs squeezing in. Now look down toward the front foot, stepping back into that twisted chair position. So feet are side by side, sit low in the bottom, keep turning toward the side. Good, another big breath in. Now exhale, see if you can come back down into that crouched position. If not, you're staying as you are. Heels lift away from the floor, hands come down to the mat. So the hands are a good shoulder distance apart. Think of your chaturanga arms, think of your shelf, squeeze the elbows in. Now you're just going to look forward and see if you can take the back of your right leg onto the back of your upper arms. Side crow. So the top toes will lift away from the floor. As you look forward, see if the bottom toes can lift away as well. And if they can, you can start playing around with the positioning of your legs. Try not to overcomplicate it in your mind, creating that shelf with the upper arms, moving the upper body forwards, most importantly, looking ahead, and then just playing with the positioning of the feet. Good, come back into that squatting, twisted chair. Well done, well done. Now look down, hands to floor. Step just your left foot back behind you, finding your way into pyramid legs. A nice short stance if you can, all 10 toes pointing straight ahead. And you can either have blocks under the hands here. If they don't reach the floor, you could have your hands on your front shin. But if fingertips are all the way down to the mat, see if you can lift the sole of the right foot away. So you're flexing through the right toes. Breathing into the back of your right leg. Good, one more enormous breath in. If the sole of your right foot is lifted, plant it down to the floor, walk the hands forwards, standing split. Reach up and away through your left toes. Option to turn your gaze down to the floor and see if you can take hold of your right ankle with right hand, maybe left hand as well eventually. Stay with your breath. Good, gently release the hands down to the floor. Step your left foot to the back of your mat, high plank. You might want to keep that right leg floating and then move through your vinyasa at your own speed. So just timing your movement with your breath. Coming back into your downward facing dog, taking a moment here, close the eyes. Think of this as your resting pose. Really well done, everyone. Inhale, soften your knees, look forwards, step, hop, or float yourself to the top of the mat. As you arrive there, this time, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown. Now exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms high, look up. Exhale, hands through prayer position at heart center. Tadasana, step the feet together. Second side, inhale, reach up through the arms. Exhale, open the arms and twist towards your left side. Good. Inhale, reach up and look up. This time, just your right foot steps back. High lunge legs. Good. Soften through the back knee again, twisting toward the left side, isolating upper body from low body. Take the right arm up alongside your ear. And begin to twist now. So if you can, right elbow comes over the left knee. Remember, if that's too much, you're staying up in your cactus arms. Otherwise, you're pressing the palms together, turning through the torso, and just taking a minute here to stabilize yourself by squeezing inner thighs together. Good. Now from here, let's step forwards into our twisted chair again. So right foot steps alongside the left, sit low into your seat. Keep pressing the palms and turning through the torso. You're coming into your crouched position. Get a little bit lower until the heels lift away. And again, we're coming into that twist. So the hands come down to the left side. And you might just want to stay here. Otherwise, you're going to create that little shelf shape with the arms squeezing in, look forwards. And see if you can bring this left thigh onto the back of the arm. So just slightly higher than the elbows. So as you do that, you look forwards. The top toes should be able to lift away from the floor pretty easily. You might be able to take a little hop with the bottom foot, or you might be able to lift it away from the floor. So patience, concentration, and deep breath. You can play around with the legs here, feel free. Good, and then come back into that crouching position, well done. Hands come down to the floor, step your right foot back, finding your way into your pyramid legs. So remember, hands are on the mat, on blocks, or on your front shin. And if you did on the other side, lift the left toes away from the floor and forward fold. So opening up into the back of the left leg. Nice big breaths in. And sense that on your exhale, you're softening and lengthening into your left hamstrings. Good, one more deep inhale. Now on the exhale, ground the front foot to the floor. If it's lifted, standing split, right leg reaches high. Now remember, if that top knee is bent, it's going to be very tricky to balance. So really pull up through the thighs, point through the top toes. And if you want to play around with balancing on one leg, look forwards, left hand, left ankle, and then maybe right hand. Again, action without attachments. Don't worry if you haven't got the balance today. Just breathe and explore. Good, hands touch down to the floor, step the right foot back, find your high plank, maybe keep your left foot floating, taking your vinyasa. Moving all the way back into downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, let it go. Really, really good, everyone. Okay, inhale. Stretch your right leg toward the ceiling this time. Three-legged dog. Now exhale, right knee, right armpit. Bring it up as high as you can, move forwards. Now pause here and see if you can squeeze your knee into the upper arm. Good, inhale, stretch the right leg up and back into three-legged dog. Exhale with control, nice and slowly, knee to nose, round forwards. Imagine you're moving through treacle here, slow motion movements. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, take it across. Now pause, see if you can get your right knee slightly higher than the left elbow. Good, inhale, right leg up into three-legged dog. And then exhale, right foot to the outer edge of right hand, step it forwards. So stay high on the back toes here for lizard lunge. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. You might be able to lower the forearms down to the floor. You might be able to close the eyes and relax the neck, but choose what feels good in your body. And if it feels better to just drop the back knee and sit more upright, then you're welcome to take that variation as well. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Good. So if this is enough for you, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, next stage is to take hold of the right ankle with the right hand and start to see if you can shuffle your right shoulder behind the right knee. Now keep the hips quite high here. Right hands can start to now wrap around toward the low back. And if you can balance, see if you can bring the left hand behind as well to bind. So again, there's a little bit of a tricky balance. Keep pressing the mat away with the feet. Keep the hips high. Breathing nice and deeply in and out through the nose. Good. Okay, from here, bring the hands back down to the floor. Now note that my right hand is on the outer edge of the right foot, so I've still got my shoulders snuggled underneath. Now from here, if you want to play around with your flying split, you're going to heel toe your right foot forwards until it can fly free. You're going to squeeze the elbows in to make your little shelf and see if you can lift the feet up and away. So again, think of that shelf with the arms, really active legs. And then from there, bring the feet back down to the floor, step back into your high plank, move through your vinyasa, meet me back in down dog. Well done, deep breath in. Exhale, let go of your anticipation of the second side. Okay, inhale, left leg rises, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left armpit. Take your knee as high up as you can and squeeze it into the back of your left upper arm. Inhale, left leg to sky. As though you are moving through slow motion, knee to nose, round forwards. Keep pressing through the palms. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, right armpit. Take it up as high as you possibly can. Good. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left foot to the outer edge of left hand, finding your lizard lunge. So keeping the back knee lifted, but of course if you need to take a different variation through the legs, feel free, just listen to your body, do what feels right. You might be on your hands, you might be able to bring the forearms down to the floor. Just take a few nice, really big breaths into left hip. Relax your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. And take a moment to be still and to breathe. Okay, so from here, moving into our aeroplane pose. So this time it's the left hand that takes hold of the left ankle. And I always do this just so that I can start to snuggle my left shoulder a little further behind the knee. And then from there, you might be wrapping the left hand behind the back and seeing if the right one can join. So taking a little bind, really important to press the mat away with the feet. Stay with your breath. Good, now setting up for your flying splits. Hands come back down to the floor. Make sure your left shoulder is still snuggled behind the left knee. Think about those chaturanga arms. You're hugging in, starting to bring the upper body forward so that the left foot can come away from the floor, and then seeing if you can float the legs away from the mat. So just breathe, stay with the breath, explore. Try not to take it too seriously. Easier said than done. And then gently, when you're done, step back into your high plank. Move it through your vinyasa. Excellent job, guys. And back into your downward facing. Good, let's drop the knees down to the floor. Take a moment or two in child's pose. Remember, if child's pose doesn't feel restful for you, you might just want to sit back onto the heels and stay upright. So just come back into your breath. Feel into the beat of your heart. All of those little reminders that we can stay present in our body. Silencing the chatter of the mind just by tuning into your Ujjayi breath once more. Okay, from here, tuck under the toes, come all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Rise up into your high lunge one more time. So we're going to have another little go at our side crow, but from a different transition this time. So moving back into our twisted high lunge. Left elbow crosses over the right knee, bring the hands into prayer. Now from here, gently lower the back knee down to the floor. So again, we're going to make our shelf shape with the arms. The hands will come down to the floor and we're hugging the elbows in. So this is a bit of a tricky one. Hands will come down. Remember to look forwards. See if you can take the back of the right thigh onto the upper arms and then float the feet away. Once you've had a play with that, come back. That lunging position, and let's take it straight into pigeon pose. So walk the right foot across the mat so you can lower the right knee down, maybe shuffling the left foot back slightly as well. Now if your right butt is floating really high away from the floor, a block or cushion might feel nice underneath your seat. Maybe you're walking the hands forwards and bringing the forehead down onto the hands. See what feels best in your body. And if this just does not feel good on your right hip, feel free rather to sit on your bottom and just take that figure 4 shape through the legs. So the right ankle comes over the left thigh. You're down in your full pigeon pose and you just want to have a little bit of a play, maybe with mermaid or with king pigeon. Then take a moment, walk the hands back towards you, lift up through the chest and start to bend your left knee. So you might be reaching back with your left hand to draw heel to butt. If you can, you could take the top of the foot into the elbow joint and then maybe even bind the hands. If you know that you're able to take hold of the foot behind the head, then you're welcome to take that variation as well. Just a few nice big breaths here. If you took your mermaid or your king pigeon, come back down into your main pigeon just for a moment or two. Rest forehead to hands, relax through your back. Good, and if you have anything underneath your right seat, just pop it over to one side for a moment so that you're able to sweep your left leg around. And we'll move into Matsyendrasana or Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the sole of the right foot comes to the floor on the outer edge of the left leg. And if it's okay for you to also bend the left knee here as well, then feel free. Inhale, reach your left arm up nice and high. Exhale, begin to twist through the body, maybe hooking the left elbow on the outer edge of the knee to turn, or maybe even taking a little bind if that's available in your body today. So just take a moment, close the eyes. Again, feel the change in your heart rate from earlier. Acknowledge where you are in your body right now. Good, inhale, come to face the front. Cross the ankles or sweep the legs around, step back, high plank, moving through your vinyasa. Meet me back in downward facing dog. Good, take a moment there in your down dog. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Let it go. Inhale, right leg reaches high into three-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. And, oh, what am I talking about? Left foot, I beg your pardon. Left foot between your hands and come all the way up into high lunge. Make sure that you're on the second side. Okay, now from here, twisting. So right elbow over left knee. Take a moment to get into the twist. Open up as much as you can, and then taking it into that little side crow variation. So the back knee can drop down, which makes it slightly easier to bring the hands to the floor, creating your shelf, your chaturanga arms. Look forward, see if you can allow the back of the left thigh to rest on the elbows, and then maybe the feet will float away from the floor. Big breaths. Good, once you've had your little play, come back onto your mat, making your way into your pigeon pose, walking the left foot across the mat and coming all the way down. Or if you took that opposite, the other seated position for the first round, then feel free to here. Use props, do whatever you need to do to get yourself comfortable here. Use this as a restorative and releasing posture. The yin to the yang of our practice today. And if you did on the first side and you want to play around with mermaid or maybe king pigeon, then just gently work your way up onto your hands. Make sure that you're really pressing through the front shin. That helps you to keep a lift up through the chest. And maybe you're taking hold of the right foot, drawing heel to butt. You can do that sliding the top of the foot into the crook of the elbow, or if you're able to take hold of the foot, the full king pigeon. And again, you're welcome to take it there. Again, just relaxing that attachment that we all have to the result that we want to get, just being where we are now. And being content with that, which is not an easy thing. Now, if you took mermaid or king pigeon, release the back foot down, just take a moment or two in sleeping pigeon, bringing the upper body forwards, forehead resting down to the floor of the hands. Again, just soaking in this opportunity that we have right now to rest. And look for the spaces that you can soften. Look at the ways in which you can make this pose feel good in your body. Remember that we talked about yesterday, a posture is supposed to be steady and comfortable. So ask yourself that, am I steady and comfortable in this position right now? And if not, it's just about changing your positioning. Well done. Okay, inhale, come back up onto your hands. Sit your bottom onto the left seat so you can slide anything that you had underneath the left seat out. So the right leg can come forwards to find our way into Ardha Matsyendrasana or Matsyendrasana. So the left foot crosses over to the floor on the outer edge of the right leg. And if you're able to bend the right knee here as well, you're very welcome to do so. Breathe in, stretch your right arm up toward the ceiling, and then breathe out to twist. Making a stop sign with the right hand as you cross it over the left thigh, turn through the upper body. If you're binding, that's also absolutely fine. Allow your spine to unravel. Lots of twisting today. And then gently facing forwards. Unravel the legs, give them a little bit of a shake out. And just take a moment to remove the flesh of your seat out to one side so that we can come into a forward fold from here. So if you're really rounding through the back, then sit yourself on something. Otherwise, reaching up through the fingertips, lengthening up through the back of the body, and exhale to forward fold over the legs. So you might have the hands on the floor, you might be sitting more upright, still a hamstring stretch, even if you are. If you can take hold of the feet, then feel free to. And remember that our muscles work in opposition, so if you pull up through the kneecaps, you'll feel a deeper release for the backs of the legs, for the hamstrings. Relax shoulders from ears, close the eyes for a few moments here. Well done, breathe in, lift the chest, reach up through the arms. Exhale, hands to floor. Shuffle yourself a little bit further forwards on your mat so that you're able to take a slow and steady spinal roll all the way down onto your back. Good, and when you reach there, just draw the knees into the chest and take a slow and steady rock from left to right. Well done. Okay, finding stillness. Feet come down to the floor, either taking it through 2 bridge poses this morning, 2 wheels, 1 of each. Just do what feels right for you. If you know what you're doing, feel free to come straight up into it. Otherwise, the feet are hip distance apart, heels are nice and close towards the butt. So as you stretch your arms alongside the body, you should be able to reach for the backs of your heels. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And on your exhale, press down through the heels to lift up through the hips. Now, if you're staying in bridge, you might want to walk the shoulder blades under a little deeper and interlace your fingers, pressing the forearms into the floor. If you want to come up into Urdhva Dhanurasana, wheel from here, the hands come either side of the head, and if you've got quite built up shoulders, the hands can be nice and wide here, pressing into the hands. Maybe you're rising up onto the crown of the head, maybe you're pressing the chest toward the wall in front of you and moving up into your full wheel. So a couple of nice deep breaths in your back bend. And then gently tuck chin to chest, come all the way down. Moving into constructive rest, so the feet are mat width apart, the knees come toward one another in a teepee shape, and just take a moment here to soften. So avoid that urge to draw the knees in toward the chest if you can. I always love just to pause between rounds of back bending because it really gives you an appreciation of how stimulating back bending is for the nervous system. We get this like rush of prana, this rush of energy. Good, okay, second round. So again, feet hip distance, heels close to bottom, deep breath in, exhale, pressing up into your bridge or coming straight up into your wheel if you prefer. Again, let go of attachments of where you want to be, whether you want to be in full Dhanurasana, maybe you want to have the forearms on the floor eventually. Just revel in where you are in your body right now. Nice big breaths. Well done, tuck chin to chest, come down, really control that exit from the posture. Again, just moving into constructive rest for a moment, feet mat width, knees together, arms wide. Deep breath in through your nose, sigh out through your mouth. Let it go, twice more like that. Really, really nice. Okay, since we've finished off with the back bend today, we're just going to do a little quick fire abs so that we're really looking after our low back. So stretch your feet up towards the sky, legs are straight, interlace your fingers, point your index fingers straight up toward your toes. Take a nice inhale, and then on your exhale, lift the back of your head and shoulders away from the floor, pointing up toward the toes. Now we're going to pulse here, fingertips to toes for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point to right foot and pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point to left foot, pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Well done. Good stuff. Okay, arms nice and wide, feet mat width apart, just gently windscreen wiping your legs from side to side. Give yourself a moment to massage out the outer edges of the hips and glutes, the hip joints, and of course the low back as well. Really nice work. Well done, everyone. It was a really dynamic practice this morning. You all did so incredibly well. And then when you're ready, find your way to stillness through your legs. If you want to take any finishing postures, feel free. Otherwise, coming into your final Shavasana, your relaxation. So get yourself comfortable. Use props if you need to. Put layers on if you need to. Finding stillness through the body, eyes closed. Let go of any control over your breath. And again, detaching from the result that you want to achieve here. So I think Shavasana in a lot of ways is one of the most difficult postures. It's difficult for us to say, okay, now relax, now switch off your mind, switch off your body, and just be with your breath. Some days that just feels like an impossibility. So regardless of where you are today, physically, mentally, whatever, if it's tricky to switch off that whirring of the mind, it's pretty difficult just to be in the moment, be with your breath, and simply acknowledge that right now, nothing else is expected of you. No rushing around to be anywhere. Just enjoy these final few moments of your practice where you're able to completely relax. So if you do have slightly longer for your relaxation this morning, I welcome you to stay there for as long as you need. Otherwise, allow your breath to deepen. Slowly start to bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes, maybe revolving the wrists and the ankles. And eventually take a full body stretch, lengthen the arms above the head, lengthen your legs out along the floor. On an exhale, drawing the knees to chest, just rolling yourself to one side. Maybe pausing there for a moment. Returning to your intention. And then finally coming up into a comfortable seat. And when you arrive there, bring the hands to prayer position at your heart center, bow your chin toward the chest. And if you'd like to join me, we'll close the practice this morning, sealing our energy with the sound of Om. Inhale through your nose. Slowly bring prayer hands up to the space between your eyebrows, lengthen up nice and tall. Peace in your thoughts. Prayer hands in front of your lips. Peace in your words. And finally, in front of your heart, peace in your actions. Namaste, everybody. Well done, well done. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Looking forward to seeing you again very soon.